Wow, just in one day of incredible counteroffensive of Ukraine in Kherson, they were able to destroy 8 Russian military warehouses, 6 military bases, 1 military headquarters and 1 military unit. In addition to that, there were several attacks against bridges in Oleshki, in Antonovka and in Novokakhovka. It is estimated that now the major bridges in Kherson are either destroyed or severely damaged, and obviously Russians started to build pontoons. But guess what? Ukrainians destroyed these pontoons as well, leaving absolutely no chances for them to escape from this territory. As a result of all this, more and more Russian soldiers are refusing to fight in the south. But however, there was a response from the Russian army. They used extremely expensive and high precise missile to destroy a toilet. But more about all of this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's go straight to the point and talk about the second day of counteroffensive of Ukrainians in Kherson. And as you can see from this video from Chernobyevka, Ukrainians were able to destroy another military base of Russians. And in this picture right here, you can see whatever is left from this base. In addition to that, as you can see from this video, Ukrainians continue to attack military objects of Russians this night. And as you can see from this video, it has been reported that this morning Ukrainians were able to destroy a local jail in Kherson, which Russians use as their military base. But let's be honest, probably some of you are wondering, why did I say that there is no escape for Russians from this territory? The answer to this question would be the absence of major bridges. And here is why. But first of all, here is a video of Ukrainians using HIMARS against bridges in Kherson. And as you can see from this video, there was several attacks against Antonovsky bridge early this morning. But just a little bit later, as you can see from this video, the local residents reported that there were extremely loud explosions coming from this bridge. And as you might already know, this bridge is already unusable for heavy military vehicles. And that is why Russians started to build pontoons. But, I mean, you guessed it, Ukrainians destroyed these pontoons as well. In addition to that, it has been reported that Ukrainians were able to destroy a pontoon next to Lvov town, which basically means that pretty much yes, Russians who remain to the north of Dnipro river in this territory basically have no chances to escape. And here is exactly why. Escaping through the west, north or northeast is basically impossible because these are Ukrainian territories. Escape through the south is also not possible because there is basically no bridges left. And that is why the remaining Russian soldiers on this territory, they basically have only two choices. The first choice is to basically surrender to Ukraine and save their lives. Because, to be honest, I don't think there will be any rescue mission for these Russians. And the second option is that yes, theoretically, they can escape to the south and just cross the river, but they will have to leave behind the majority of military equipment and vehicles. And once they do rejoin with the Russian forces, Russia does not have enough spare weapons to re-equip them and send them back. In several seconds I'll be talking about the major Russian infiltrators fleeing Kherson, but first of all, just a couple more good news. First of all, according to the US intelligence, Ukraine was already able to liberate 4 towns in Kherson just in one day of its counteroffensive. And these towns are Novodmitrovka, Arkhangelsk, Tomina Balka and Pravdine. And in addition to that, the local residents of Kherson can already hear the sounds of the combat, which is very close to the borders of the city. Ukraine is coming home. And by the way, if you want to see all this footage, especially the one which I was not able to use in today's episode, please consider checking my Patreon. All the proceeds will be donated to Ukraine and you can find all the useful links down below. But now, as promised, let's talk about the major Russian infiltrator in Kherson, Kirill Stremausov, fleeing this territory. So earlier today he recorded this video where he was mocking the Ukrainian counteroffensive. With only one key difference is that this video was recorded from Russia. The internet detectives were able to recognize this cathedral in the background of his video. And apparently, after some basic research, it was established that right now Kirill Stremausov is located in Voronezh, Russia. And I mean, at this point And just imagine the morale of Russian soldiers. You've been literally abandoned in Kherson by your officers who escaped this region 2 weeks ago. Right now, all the major bridges are practically destroyed, and your supposedly role model, Kirill Stremausov, is saying that you need to fight back, but he's doing this from Russia. But wait a second, if you're on the side of Russia in this war, I do have some good news for you. Because earlier this week it has been reported that Russians use expensive and high precise missiles to destroy a toilet. But okay, jokes aside, in this video right here we can see Russians are bringing more military vehicles from Crimea to Kherson. But now let's continue talking about the counteroffensive of Ukrainians in the south, and this time we go to Oleshki. And while I'm doing this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. And in this picture right here, it has been reported that Ukrainians were able to destroy another Russian military base. Then we go a little bit to the east, to the city of Kakhovka, and as you can see, another Russian military warehouse was destroyed. And then in the neighboring Nova Kakhovka, there was several missile attacks of Ukrainians against Russian military objects. And then in this video from Tavrisk, we can see the consequences of Ukrainian attacks. And before I talk about two more extremely good news for Ukrainians, here is one last video from Berislav. And as you can see right here, Ukrainians were able to destroy another Russian military warehouse. Alright, here are the good news. First of all, it has been reported that Ukrainians were able to breach through the first line of defense of Russians close to Mykolaiv. And the second good news is that Russian propagandist Roman Saponkov, he himself acknowledged that fewer and fewer Russian soldiers are willing to fight in Kherson. The ones he is talking about are those most recent conscripts from Luhansk and Donetsk. I just hope that more and more Russian soldiers start to realize the meaninglessness of this war. Okay, and before I talk about pretty bad things that happened in Kharkiv, here is just a couple final words about Russian actions in the south. First of all, as you can see from this picture from Mykolaiv, Russians once again did shell this city. And then we go a little bit to the west to Odessa, and we can see the Ukrainian air defense system, which was able to intercept Russian drone. And finally, there are several reports that Russia did close the Crimean bridge to take out the remaining military vehicles. And now let me give you a quick update on Kharkiv. Earlier today, 8 missiles exploded in the city, and a residential building and a kindergarten were damaged. In response to that, there was at least one Ukrainian missile which exploded in Belgorod region. And immediately after, many local residents tried to leave the city by train. And before we go into ridiculous Russian propaganda, and trust me, today you will just not believe what's happening. Here's just a summary of the day. First of all, according to Alexei Arestovich, the turning point in this war has already passed. Yesterday's counteroffensive of Ukraine was the peak of it, and from now on, every single day, it will just become better for Ukraine. Ukraine will most certainly succeed, and he, along with President Zelensky, advises the remaining Russian soldiers to just surrender. As you might already know, Zelensky is no longer considering peace talks because he is confident in Ukraine's victory, and the war will be over as soon as every single Russian soldier leaves the Ukrainian territory, which is also confirmed by the US ex-general Ben Hodges, who is confident that Ukraine will be able to push Russians away before the end of this year. He thinks that the Russian army has reached its full potential and is no longer able to advance. And right now is the perfect time for Ukraine to receive Western weapons and end this war. Welcome to another episode of Ridiculous Russian Propaganda. And first of all, just let me know what do you think it is. Well, believe it or not, this is the example of a notebook which from now on is prohibited in some Russian schools. And what I'm talking about here is that elementary school kids in the city of Kurgan are now only allowed to buy notebooks with the Russian flag or other Russian symbols. In addition to that, the Ministry of Education of Russia is thinking to add patriotic classes. And here are just a few examples of classes that they want to implement in Russian schools. Specifically, elementary school kids will be studying the nature of Russia because somehow this increases the patriotism. And then they will be taught how to properly love the motherland and how to follow the principle, which is to love the motherland is to serve the motherland. The middle school kids will be studying the current special military operation and the modern Russian heroes. They will be also taught that Luhansk and Donetsk are a part of Russia and that it is important for the people of these regions to come back to their motherland. And finally, the high school kids will have this project where they have to recreate the modern Russia timeline with the focus on war and terrorism against Russia. And I mean, yes, Russian stores already started selling backpacks for kids with this special military operation symbols, and if you want to see more pictures of these backpacks, feel free to join my Discord. And if you want to support my work, please consider becoming my channel member. Thank you so much for your attention, stay safe, and see you tomorrow.